Hey guys, welcome to week 2 of Mentality Minutes. So, I'm excited to be back with you guys this week. Today I'm just going to go over a little bit of the book that we're reading, and then we're going to dig into our first lesson and just walk out of here ready to go attack the day. So, kind of going off of last week, super happy that this is something that you guys are finding valuable and helpful. The ones who asked for it back. But all I ask now is if you hear something in here, you know a teammate or you know someone who could also benefit from the lessons that you're learning, share the episode with them or just timestamp it and send them like, hey, this moment reminded me of you, or like something that I think could help you out the same way that it helps me. That kind of message, because as you share it, not only are you helping them, but you're growing your community and you're growing this community. So I ask that of you guys, but other than that, let's get right into it. So the book that we're going to read this week, or not read, but go over briefly and efficiently, it's Legacy by James Kerr. It's what the All Blacks can teach us about the business of life. So it's about a rugby team from New Zealand, the All Blacks, world champions, absolutely crazy sports program, super renowned. And I mean, the title says it all. Legacy, right? So business leaders read this, team leaders, programs, athletes. Very awesome book. I was introduced to it by Coach T, who hopefully we can have him on the show sometime. But he introduced me to this book because he did a book club last year, and we all talked about it as a group. And it's an awesome, awesome book if you want to know what it actually is to be a part of something that's bigger than you, or how to create that if that's your role. So go pick it up. We're going to briefly go over it. But like I said it about winning last week and Tim Grover, the best way to get everything you can out of this is to go pick up the book if it piques your interest or you think you can grow from it. And I can guarantee you will grow from this book if you decide to go read it. So let's just get into it. Our first lesson today is about sweeping the sheds. Okay, I'm going to read to you guys a little bit about what sweep the sheds means. Then you're going to reflect on it, and then you're going to walk out of here with some action steps to go make the most of it in your day-to-day. So, sweep the sheds means never be too big to do the small things that need to be done. So, that's how the opening chapter is. But never be too big to do the small things that need to be done. And to kind of explain what that means. So I'm sure when I said that, some things came to your mind. But to best explain it, the All Blacks themselves are tidying up after themselves, sweeping the sheds, doing it properly, so no one else has to, because no one looks after the All Blacks. The All Blacks look after themselves. This is an example of personal discipline, not expecting somebody else to do your job for you. It teaches you to not expect things to be handed to you. That's what sweeping the sheds means. So they're a rugby team. They go out, they go play outside. They come in, they're muddy, grass, gross, locker room. Sometimes, they play on turf, but primarily they'll play on grass. So they come in and they make a mess, and after every match, they will sweep the locker room, tie up the trash, wipe down the locker rooms, and it almost looks as if it was cleaned better than it was before they walked in there. And this is grown men rugby players doing this. This isn't just some 8th grade basketball team with a coach that says, hey, pick up after yourselves. No. They do this because nobody takes care of the All Blacks. The All Blacks take care of themselves. They aren't waiting for the janitors to come in and clean up after the mess. They take care of it. And the locker room translates to their life as people, who they are in their family, who they are in their community, who they are in their team, the All Blacks. But that's their mentality, is we clean up after ourselves, we take care of ourselves, and we leave everywhere better than how we found it. Because ultimately, now this is a quote that I want you guys to remember, or write down at least, what else is a legacy if not that which you leave behind after you have gone? So you can think about this in a short-term environment where when you leave the gym, is it nicer than when you found it? Or You can think of it in your home life of, do I pick up my dishes? Do I put my laundry away? Do I do these little things? Do I clean up after myself? Or you can think about this in the term of long terms. Like, when I graduate from high school, what kind of athlete will I be? Who will they say I was? Did I leave this place better than I found it? Did I leave everything that was in my environment better than how I found it? So it's asking yourself that question. And to do that, it starts with these daily disciplines of training your eye. Like they said, it's personal discipline to see these things that need to be taken care of and taking care of them, knowing that you're not too big to do the small things that need to be done. Now, this kind of ties into what we talked about with your standards, and I'll just briefly hint on this, but your standards are who you are and what you do and what you believe. That is part of this. So picking things up, taking care of things, leaving it better than how you found it is part of it. But the mentality behind sweeping the sheds is humility, discipline, and just character. So it's more than just meeting the standard. It's about, okay, we aren't going to wait for someone to come clean up our mess. We're not going to leave to someone else because we're too big or too good to take care of it ourselves. So you have a lot of opportunities in your life to sweep the sheds. And so I have a little question for you guys. Think of an area where you can take ownership of a small, overlooked task this week. Think of something that maybe you've been passing off for someone else to take care of, or you don't really want to do because you think it's someone else's job to take care of. Maybe you've been leaving the gym and the balls are all over the place, or there's trash left, and you're just like, oh, coach will take care of it. Or a different person can take care of it. This week, find those things. And it can be in your classroom, in your team setting, it can be at home, and take care of those one at a time. And you realize once you see it and you start training your eye to see it, you'll see a million different things that you can take care of, and you're just like influencing and affecting and making a million different things better. Because what I will say about sweeping the sheds is this is not just a principle that you're taught in elementary school or grade school, or a lot of maybe coaches will be like, just pick up after yourselves, and kind of cliche. I'm trying to show you how this is not cliche, how if you understand why you're doing this, like why it is so important. Because the most successful programs and teams, like the All Blacks, they do this. And that is the standard, and that is, no one is too big, no one is too small to do the little things that need to be done. And I have stories, but this is a 15-minute episode, not a 2-hour episode. But I will say this runs across the boards in the most successful programs and cultures. They take care of the small things, no matter who you are. So start learning that now, because when you go to high school or you go to college or you go into your professional work setting or whatever it might be, if you hold this mentality of, I can do any of these jobs and I will do any of these jobs, and I leave things better than how I found them, I sweep the sheds, I have humility, and I have discipline, you're going to go a very long ways. But you got to start teaching yourself now and training your eye to see those opportunities. So pick out something every day this week that you can focus on, clean up, pick up, leave better than how you found it, where you can sweep the sheds. So remember, sweeping the sheds is that you are never too big to do the small things that need to be done. No one needs to clean up after insert your name. So that is our episode for today. Sweep the sheds. And I'm pretty sure I read you everything out of here that I wanted to say. Last thing I'll say is, true excellence begins with humility, with a humble willingness to sweep the sheds. So go into your life today, sweep the sheds, find opportunities to do so, and just understand that it's not some cliche thing. And I hope this has helped shift your mentality around what it really means to do this job. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. Keep growing, keep building your foundation, keep tuning into these episodes. trail it on from last week when we talked about standards and winning and your expectations for yourself, and keep doing great things. Appreciate you guys tuning into the show today.